Hey guys, so building a PC in these few years is not ideal, with people still hoarding the sweet 30 series card for crypto or even jacking up the price. So these few months, there has been some improvement, but the price is still not really going down quite fast in Malaysia. So you could not really walk into any PC store and just to buy a GPU. Well, technically you can, but it will be just very expensive. So if you are unfortunate like me, where my laptop just died, well, it's time to build a PC. So previously in my video, I walked through my thoughts on picking a case. Video in the description below. I will also put it right up in the card right here. But TLDR, I picked a Tower 100 because I need a small form factor PC with a space available for putting my PC right here. So in Malaysia, we do not really have those grand stores like what you have in the US, where you could have stores like Micro Center or even Newegg and many more. Well, in Malaysia, technically you have computer stores such as TMT and our Malaysia Best Buy and many other computer stores. But I noticed a weird pattern here. The price for only purchasing a single GPU is shockingly high. They will sell you the GPU at a lower price if you bundle them with a rig. The only theory that I could think of to having them doing this practice is they do not want the miners to hoard the CPU, the GPU, and keeping the GPU power supply for those that really wanted to build a PC. Of course, that would also causing some people would like to upgrade their gaming rig, but unable to due to the GPU is quite expensive for now. So what about the internet? In Malaysia, we have Shopee and Lazada, but looking through the site, I'm not pleased with the result. Many graphic cards are either a bit overpriced or really sketchy. So using Amazon or Newegg to purchase is also possible. Shipping across half the globe is no big deal. The only concern that I have is the time it needs to reach here, because the amount of time that I would be downtime, I'm unable to editing or anything, is too great for me. I am currently using a lone laptop from one of my friends just to create this video out. So I could not also imagine what would happen to my components once it reach from across half the world to Malaysia. So picking a store in my case would be much more make sense. So before contacting a PC builder, I need to plan out what I want for my PC. You could actually give them a budget and they would just create out for you a system. But for my case, I would really like to build my own PC, but not in the case that where I could pick and match everything. I need to talk with a few of the PC builders and sort out with them, see which type of parts they have or what configuration do they have, or maybe have some of their ideas on what type of PC that's suitable for me. So for my case, first thing first, I want to edit on my PC. That's the main thing right up there. And the secondly will be streaming, as I would be venturing towards that side down the line. Last but not least, it would be gaming. From the priorities list, I know that I really need a higher end CPU rather than a GPU from the priority. But I do really want a RTX for the NVIDIA encoding. So for my estimation, I would need roughly like a Ryzen, maybe a Threadripper if possible, or at least a i7 and above. So I also need a SSD for the where I transfer my file will be much more easier. Loading the videos, editing it will be so much easier. So for the motherboard, I also need a Type-C for the front panel of the case. So if I don't have that, it will be just a dummy, which I do not really want. I really wanted a Type-C front facing because some of my pen drive are actually Type-C. So with roughly what I have for my idea, what I wanted, so I start messaging some of the PC builders for their recommendation. So after calling and messaging with a few PC builders and also asking around a few friends, because some of my friends are actually just built some PC recently in the years, they recommended me Hakim Tech, which is in Penang Island, ICT Mall. So after messaging back and forth for roughly 2 weeks, we finally locked down and agreed on some of the parts. So for the CPU, we are going with a i9 190KF for the fast processing. For the motherboard, we are going with a ROZ 590i Ultra, which is an ITX box, just to unlock the full potential of the CPU. you need a Z series board to overclock the CPU, just FYI. So it is also an ITX motherboard which could fit into my Tower 100. So, and also one more thing, the Aorus Z590 also has a Type-C front panel interface. So this is really good. I'm very happy with it because I'm able to use the front port of the Tower 100. So another feature of this Z590 is it have BioFlashback, where I can refresh the motherboard BIOS if it got corrupted. For the RAM, it is a 16GB DDR4 colorful CVN RAM with a whopping 320 MHz. It's running at a dual channel, so 2 pieces of 8GB is used for this. So this one of the reasons that we picked this RAM is actually due to the RAM is being RGB Fusion compatible. I will upgrade the RAM in the future if I notice that it is not really I could need more or something along the lines. So for the graphic card, we are going with a 3060GB Eagle. I could not go any higher than that due to the budget constraint. Most likely I'll upgrade this in the future once the GPU price coming down. The dimension is also RGB Fusion compatible. So for the cooling, we went with a Tecware Mirage 120mm AIO. It is also RGB Fusion compatible, so you can guess my PC builder is really user experience first, as he picked most of the parts surrounding the motherboard RGB Fusion features. I really like this approach where you don't need to download that much software to control the LED. Kudos for this. For the power supply, we went with a Cooler Master MWE650. It's technically enough for the build, but I keep this in mind in the future in case I will need to change to a more powerful GPU. So alright, with all the parts introduced in the build, let's get back to the case. One of the hardest in building an ITX PC is actually putting everything into the case. This is where I really like the Tower 100, the ThermalTake Tower 100. The case is modular, it could easily disassemble with a Phillips screwdriver. As we can see here, once all the top screw is removed, all the surrounding panel could be removed, which helped a lot in building this PC. At the top, we could see the top front panel are cable managed. There is a 120mm fan fixed at the top and also at the back end. So building in this case does not look very complicated. Just note that the port at the side of the motherboard is actually facing the top instead of the usual to the side. So when assembling this, you need to make sure that you turn your manual to the correct orientation to find the pins easier. For any motherboards with heatsink at the back, such as the Aorus Z5090i Ultra, do know that you need to remove the 3.5mm hard disk trays, or else it could not fit the back. The heatsink at the back would knock with the back case. So another feature for this case, which is the ThermalTake Tower 100, is the power supply. It could fit any power supply. You do not need to specifically have a small form factor power supply or SFF power supply. This could really help you to save a buck. The case has ample space, so hiding your wire could be easily done. I mean, cable management. I really love this design where the mounting points could be removed, and once all the cable have been placed, then only you screw in the case fixing all together. The only downside for this case is that it could only fit a 120mm AIO, which is kinda scary, especially here in Malaysia. Every day is a summer day where our temperature is floating around 30 degrees Celsius or 86 Fahrenheit for your American friends. So I'm not sure if a single 120mm AIO could cool this CPU, especially since it is a 11900 KF. I believe using a tower cooler such as a Noctua NHD15 or Sightful 2 or any dual tower air CPU cooler could have a better chance in cooling this CPU. I have linked some of the coolers in the description below. So for the graphic card, it's actually upward mounted, so you could only fix dual slot GPUs on it. You cannot really use a 3-slot GPU for this case. So do keep in mind when you are purchasing, you can unable to use a 3-slot GPU from what I see, but you can really try it out and see. For the length of the GPU, it could fit up to 3 fans, which is not an issue. But the main issue would be the 2 slots of the GPU. Though I'm not the one building the PC, I'm really impressed by how easily the PC is built, especially building in such a small form factor. It took around roughly 2 hours to complete the build, which is quite impressive. The builder for this PC does not have any experience building in the Tower 100, so sometimes it's needed to looking through through the manual and figuring it out as he go. So what do you think of the Tower 100? Do comment down below. So far I'm really excited with it and really eager to set it up and have a go at it. If you like this video, do give the video a like and subscribe. This video is getting long. So in the next video, I will only show you all the temperatures with the stop and overclocking the CPU. Can the 120mm AIO handle it? How well would this PC perform, or will it crash due to overheating? So get subscribed to find out. See you all next week. Goodbye.